Hey, you're listening to the Smoke Meat Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Pittman. Smoke Meat is brought to you by Joe's Underground at the corner of 8th and Broad in Augusta, Georgia, in the bottom of the Lamar Building. Joe's is such a great place. They make you feel like your family from the second you walk in there for the first time. Jeremy and the gang just love everybody that comes in. It's just, I can't even describe the atmosphere there, but they always make you feel like you're at home. So go on down to Joe's, have a drink, have a good time, just enjoy yourself, meet some new friends, hang out with the old ones. But just remember, I goes to Joe's and so should you at the corner of 8th and Broad in Augusta, Georgia, in the bottom of the Lamar Building. Today, my guest is Steve Hamm, helicopter pilot, actor, all around great guy. We're going to get this beast kicked off today here on Smoked Meat. So, how you doing today, Steve?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Man, if I was any better, I'd be twins.
uh,
Oh, yeah.
well, thanks for having me on.
Hey, thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for coming on. I know we've talked a little bit, and you so far you're a pretty cool guy. You've done a lot of neat stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, I like to think so anyway.
yeah, because everybody loves helicopters, and you fly them. That is
True.
awesome in itself. But the really cool part is you flew them in Iraq, and
Yeah.
my hat's off to you. Like I say, I support my veterans 100% because I mean you're out there.
Yeah, I flew in Afghanistan as well, so it was a interesting time period of my life for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and and I know that now you're doing the life flight thing, and
Yeah.
we deal with helicopters a whole lot because
Yeah.
I remember the day in EMS when we didn't have the helicopter. We had I think one in the state.
Yeah.
So if we had something 30 or 40 miles out or something needed to go way up to the trauma center, we had a ground pound.
Yeah.
And now, I'll get something nasty and I'll call on the way out there. Hey, dispatch, give me the status of the bird, and they'll tell me if they're flying or not.
Right.
And it's funny, you can tell what pilot's on by what they'll fly in. Because we've got some pilots that it could be a beautiful, sunny, no wind, not a cloud for 10,000 miles, unlimited ceiling, and they'll find a reason not to fly a lot of things.
Huh.
And when I was in Augusta, we had an old Vietnam pilot. He was amazing. He was so great. If you found something that he wouldn't fly in, it was bad. You didn't even need to drive it.
Jeez.
His motto was, "We all gotta die sometime. Let's go."
Well, yeah, that wouldn't float too well today, that's for sure. They've
No.
definitely put more rules and restrictions on us now.
Oh, big time, big time. But he was so funny.
Huh.
Oh man.
Yeah, every pilot's got their own personal weather minimums that they go by. So, and some are just more conservative than others.
Yeah, yeah. But hey, it's a wonderful thing, using what you learned in the army and you still helping people, and that's awesome because I know there's times when I'm a veteran paramedic, but there's things where if we have to go to Atlanta, I really don't want to ground pound it. We want the bird every time for these things. And
Yeah,
it's a wonderful thing to see those lights start coming down.
yeah.
And
It's one of the few military jobs that will transfer to the civilian side, pretty easily.
yeah, and the neat thing is a helicopter. It don't matter who you are. If you're a tough gangster biker, whoever, or a kid, it turns you into a 7-year-old watching a helicopter land and take off. Don't matter what's happening, you immediately like, ooh.
Well, the pilot feels the same way. I mean, I know I do. Even though I have a week on, week off schedule, but as soon as I usually get back up in the air flying again, I still get a little giddy every once in a while with what's going on because especially with those people who never get to see it up close or or in person, more than once in their life or anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's always fun when we have to do the hot load class. It tickles me because I understand the need for that training because it's a dangerous thing, and everybody doesn't know it. And I take for granted that everybody has done this 1,000 times, and you realize no, they haven't. You might need to show them
No,
where they need to walk, and don't get behind the
right.
tail, don't get behind the skids, and don't do
Yeah,
anything until the pilot looks you in the eye and waves you in.
right. Yeah. That's what we try to we have do a lot of the LZ, LZ classes, lending zone classes to the neighboring communities, and you can always tell when some of these departments, are trained really well and what they're not when you get your brief before you fly in, and they'll tell you, certain information, and the good ones will give you the great information, and the other ones will kind of just get out what they think you need, and ultimately it's still up to us to make sure we get in there safe. But some are just training better than others. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we appreciate that you do this definitely. But you got out of the army. You started flying civilian,
Yep.
and you got a wild hair and took an acting class, and kind of snowballed, didn't you?
Yeah, that actually happened before I got out of the service. Actually, that was just I don't know, a wild thought that happened to me one day, and I just did some research and found an acting coach workshop that was near my area. I emailed the guy, and he's like, "Yeah, come on down this weekend or whatever, and and see what you think." And so went down there and did it for the weekend, and I guess that's where the proverbial acting bug hit me. And then I was like, I really want to pursue this more, but it's like anything else with the entertainment business. When you first start out, you're not making any money. You got to make your mark, and start at the bottom. So I had to wait until I got myself established in my new job and career before I could really refocus on that again. So it's been a balancing act between doing life flight flying and then the acting thing, because it's more of a conflict of schedules most of the time.
Yeah, because I know if you hadn't had enough sleep, or you haven't slept in a certain amount of time before you go on, they ain't gonna let you fly, and
No,
it's
that's
a
why I make
safety
sure
thing.
that any projects that I take on, it's going to be during my off weeks. So there's a
Yeah,
lot of stuff that I have to pass on, because they may do an audition during my week off, but they may be shooting during my week on, and I can't do it. So I just usually don't even apply once I see the dates, or if they don't have dates, then I'll ask them what they think that their proposed shooting dates are, just so that I'm not conflicting, and they're not wasting their time with me trying to fit me in,
yeah,
unless they really want to.
yeah, yeah. Well, I tell you, it's funny. The neat thing about medicine, a lot of times, is the schedules are great because it does give you time to do other stuff, and at the same
Hmm.
time, like I say, it's a balancing act. If you get a chance to do a show or something, and it's your week to work, it's like, well, guess what I'm not doing this week, and I work.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, it's disappointing sometimes, because I really enjoyed doing the acting thing, being on set and all that stuff. But the bills still gotta get paid. So obviously the day job is gotta take priority.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Now, has anybody tried to get you to like fly in any of the movies? I know a lot of movies use helicopters for production and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I have been asked about that, and unfortunately, most people don't understand. Oh, they don't know how the whole commercial and private flying business works. So I mean, unfortunately, I can't just get in any helicopter and go fly it. It just doesn't work that way. As if you were, not like you have a civilian driver's license. You
Yeah,
can drive any car on the road, except a truck, basically. But no, I would have to have a private license to go fly something else, and which I don't have. So that kind of rules that out. But most projects nowadays can use drones to do a lot of their aerial shots too, and
mm,
so those can get almost as good as any decent helicopter. Now these big budget productions, they use helicopters, but those guys are they work for a company, they got their private pilot license, and it's a whole different ball game for them. So
mm.
now I can act like a pilot if they need me to, but I just can't actually do the flying.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, cool. Well, I know you've been doing some voice work too, and that's something
Yeah,
I've actually wanted to start doing some of because it's interesting, and obviously I like to use my voice.
right. Yeah, I don't know where that came from actually. One day I just had a thought about doing that too, so I did some research on that, and I went ahead, bought some professional equipment to use, and went on started looking for auditions for voiceover, and then even signed up for a pay to play site, I guess as they call it. So, but it's one of those things where you have to be consistent with it, and it's people have to get to know you, get to know your voice, and see if they like you and stuff. But that's a daily thing that you have to keep doing. And unfortunately, I've just been so busy, I haven't been able to do as much of it as I want to. But I did get the audiobook deal about a year ago, so I've been trying to finish that up. And once that gets done, I've learned so much about how to do it that I think my next time around it definitely won't take as long. So, but there's a lot of work lately in voiceover, especially with everything going on with COVID and stuff.
Yeah, and like I said, that's something I've wanted to look into doing because I love to talk first off,
Yeah.
and I've got 10,000 voices that I do.
Jeez.
Yep. I mean, I do a great Hank Hill. I could sell the hell out of some propane to you, and maybe even some accessories. But
Yeah, you got that down, no
yeah,
doubt.
but I mean, I love doing different voices and stuff, and I have different characters that I'll do, and the sad thing is, with my accent being just a plain old Southern boy, a lot of times, that kind of hampers a little bit because people, a lot of times hear my accent and go, yeah, not really who we want to sell encyclopedias. And I understand,
Yeah,
but
right.
you know, and it's funny whenever I try and not speak with my accent, it's kind of the radio voice, and like I say, it's canned, and I hate that voice. It's like, so come buy this deodorant today, and that don't work for me. But
Yeah, it's hit and miss these days with the old radio voice.
yeah, most definitely. But talking about doing the audiobook like we talked about, that's people don't realize that's a booger. That's tough to do.
Yeah, I didn't realize how tough it was until I started, and the recording is in itself is can be difficult because you gotta you know pace yourself. You got to make sure that you eat right so you're not having to either burp a lot or you have your stomach growling or something like that. So you really have to set yourself up for success before you start, and take some breaks and make sure your room's quiet and the whole all the other stuff involved. So there's a lot that goes into doing a recording, and then the editing itself is just having the right equipment for that and the know-how. So it was a steep learning curve for me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're on the right path. From what we've talked about, you're on the right path, and you're going to do great at it.
Thanks. I just got to keep being consistent with it. That's all. It's nothing. No, success doesn't happen overnight, so you really have to work at it hard.
Yeah, I'm glad you're one of the people that realizes that. Everybody nowadays just wants everything now.
Oh, I know.
Okay,
Yeah,
I've
instant
got a
gratification. I
microphone. I
know.
want the Joe Rogan numbers.
Yeah.
And I look at it this way. My podcast has grown ridiculously over the last couple of months, but it's because I've worked on it.
Hmm.
I do several interviews a day, and I edit, and I work on it. I take pride in it. I bought more equipment, the better equipment for it, and
Yeah.
and I try and help others that do them because I figured out in podcasting and comedy, anything entertainment, a lot of people kind of see it as a competition, which in a way it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not losing anything in the world helping you with what I know.
Hmm.
It's not hurting me a bit.
Right.
And I look at it this way: the things I've had to learn the hard way, if I can keep somebody from having to learn them the hard way in the expensive ways that I have, all day long, I'll help anybody.
Well, there you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it's always a benefit. Pay it forward. I think as far as for the acting stuff and auditions, a lot of actors they get they think it's a huge competition or how do I book that job and stuff. And I ran into a YouTube video with Bryan Cranston months ago, and he broke it down so simply that it made total sense. That he used to think that he was going in there to try to book a job, and he was struggling before he made it big. And this one day he realized that he's just gonna go into the room. It's his moment. He's gonna take it, and then he's gonna deliver whatever performance he feels is what he interprets of what's with the content, and then he's gonna leave and not worry about it. So he wasn't trying to book a job. He was just trying to show, hey, here's what I have. If you like it, great. If not, oh well. And once he had that mentality, he said he started booking stuff like crazy. Although it does help when you're in LA and California, and you're in front of people and stuff, and you have the access, and you're available all the time like that. So,
Yeah.
but I still think that his thought process behind it, is kind of what I've adopted, and it makes auditions so much easier. Just don't care if you book it, just go in there and appreciate the fact that you got the callback or the invitation to audition, and just show what you got. And they're either gonna like you or they're not, or they'll think about you for something else. You just don't know.
Yeah. And
So don't try to control the whole situation.
yeah, right before the COVID thing happened, I've got a friend who I've done comedy with for about 15 years, and we've never been like come to the house for dinner friends, but you know how you have people who you see them and you talk, and you may not see them again for 2 years, and you still talking and friendly and everything. Well, he sent me an email and said, "I've written a pilot, and I'd like for you to audition for these two parts. Can you tape something and send it in?" I'm like, well, sure. This came out of the blue, but okay. And it's actually going to be a pretty good show. So I did my two parts, and one of them I was pretty much born for. I can't really talk about it on here, but I was born
Hmm.
for this part. It's me, and I did my spin on it, and and I left it at that. I sent them in, and right after that, COVID hit and everything shut down. So I'm the
Yeah.
reason I'm the reason COVID came, because I might have gotten the part. So that's my kind of luck.
Yeah. No. That when that hit, everything just it changed the whole game of everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can't get on stage right now. I'm a comedian, and that's killing me.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that's your bread and butter right there.
yeah, I mean, I love getting on stage and being in front of an audience. I do little videos on YouTube, but I don't really do my stand up, because I've had comics who are getting online now and getting a backdrop and doing a living room show,
Yeah.
but I feed off that audience. I can't just stand there and tell my jokes. But I do characters, and I filmed some of those. I filmed one the other night. Have you seen this thing they call the White Chocolate Challenge?
No, I haven't heard of that.
Oh, I eat hot stuff also, and this thing is a piece of white chocolate, and it's got it's got 12 of the hottest peppers in the world in it, and it is no joke. This thing is ridiculous hot. But a friend of mine sent it to me, and I said, "All right, tell me my character you want me to use and what you want him to be doing." And this evil bastard decided to make me be my clown, who is Murray, who is a very horrible clown. This is Murray's voice. He is so bad. He is not a kid clown at all. And he wanted Murray to read the dirty parts of 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I filmed that Saturday night and put it out, and it was awesome.
Huh.
But yeah, but it's on my YouTube channel. It's Brad's Comedy, all one word with no apostrophe. And it's got some
Yeah,
of
I'll
my
have to
other
check that
characters
out.
on there. You'll like it. It's funny. Most of my characters are pretty good. I like them all. But
Comedy is tough to do. I'll tell you, my hat's off to you for that.
it is, man. But it's fun. It's something I've been doing just to kind of wind down after my shifts, because I like making people laugh, and it just is a good escape.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah, and that's another reason why I do this show, just because it's this is 30 minutes to an hour. I don't have to think about anything but who I'm talking to, and it
Yeah.
helps just get rid of the day. Because I know you've had shifts where, even though you're not direct patient care, you're still a part of that team, and you just have those shifts you want to wash that day off.
Yeah, there's been a few that linger.
Yeah, yep, and it just, I like to have fun with people, and I like to meet new people, and this is it was a logical thing to do, and I love doing it. Now, when you're not doing your voiceovers or your audiobook, when you're not acting, when you're not flying, what do you like to do? How do you unwind?
Well, I basically, I mean, I like to watch good movies, and of course with COVID and everything going on, a lot of Netflix I've been watching right now. So I've been getting to binge watch some stuff that comes on there.
Mm,
Otherwise, it's I like to try to play some golf once in a while. I'm not great at it, but it's a good stress reliever actually for me, believe it or not.
oh yeah,
Um, Other than that, it's I think from my downtime, basically, it's not really downtime. I keep I keep the grind going daily as far as with work. And actually, just recently, I actually just took and passed my real estate agent exam. So now I'm kind of working with that now and trying to see how I and about making a living doing that because I think with the flying stuff, it's going to be coming to a slow halt or an end here in the next year or so. It's taking its toll on me
Nope.
physically, essentially. I think so. Yeah, I'm gonna try my hand at that, and though I think I'll be pretty good at it because one, a house purchase is important for people to make, and I generally have a I should say I genuinely care, about a purchase someone makes, so I'm not going to try to be like a used car salesman, and try to, get whatever, sold I can to whoever, I mean, if they want it, great. If they don't want it, so be it,
Yeah.
it's not going to matter to me one way or another, but I'm going to do my best to make sure that, that their deal goes through, smoothly and efficiently as possible. So I'm looking forward to getting that going. Other than that, it's just, the daily grind of looking for acting roles or voiceover stuff or whatever else to keep me busy.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Yeah, I've got a couple of good friends who've left law enforcement and EMS and gotten into real estate and have done really
Yeah.
well with it.
Yeah, it's what you make of it for sure. I've watched some YouTube videos, some with the some experienced agents, and one of the key things they say is that um, the first year can make or break you. So it depends on how motivated you are, and dealing with either not so much rejection, but frustration of not making a sale or something like that. So um, I just I have enough to lean on where it's not going to affect me one way or another. So, but I think the fact that I like to deal with people and I can help them out, and I think as long as they like you and and you're the service you're providing, it's not like they have to like pull information from you or they think that you're kind of shady about it. It should be a fun and easygoing process.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's an
Minus
exciting
getting
time.
the loan for a bank, obviously, would be the hardest part.
Yeah, because buying a house is such an exciting time for anybody. And when you have a good agent, that makes the world of difference because you have some agents who, yeah, they're all about the money, and I dig that because
Right,
you got to be about the money some. But some will always try and push them a little bit further. Well, if you like this one, you'll really like this one, and
right.
knowing that they ain't going to be able to afford that house. While it looks
Yeah,
good on paper, yeah, on paper you
right.
can afford anything, but life happens.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
And
no, I mean, yeah. So, to me, the commission rate, it is what it is. I mean, everyone knows that, the agent's going to get paid a commission off the sale, whatever, but that's really in the back of my mind. I'm just, and probably every new agent says it that they're looking forward to just, doing great things, but that's going to be my intent the whole way through, just because I know how I would want to be treated by my agent, when purchasing a house.
yeah, and that goes a long way because you can have I reckon compare salesman a lot of times to Herb Tarlick from WKRP. The white belt and the white patent leather shoes and the plaid pants.
Yeah.
That slick guy. And I hate those kind of salespeople.
Yeah. No, I do too.
And I can spot them a mile away, even if they're not wearing the tacky crap. You can always tell that person. And I don't buy
Right.
anything from them. I buy it from real people who care.
Right.
Because especially if you're living in the town you're selling houses in, you're going to look at that person for a long time.
Right.
And if you sold them something that they couldn't afford, and talk to them about it, and they, you know, okay, cool, and they lose their house 5 years down the road, you're going to see them in the grocery store. You're going to see them everywhere, and they're going to think that's the guy that sold me that house, knowing I couldn't afford that thing, but he sold it anyway.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility.
Yeah. I mean, and it's going to happen sometime, because people are going to do what they're going to do. Like I say,
Right.
it's exciting, and you can get caught up in it and buy more than you need a lot of times, and
Yeah.
not realize because it adds up great on paper. And like I say, all of a sudden your motor in your car blows up, or you have a kid, or
Yeah.
you get sick. I mean, hell, I had 2 strokes and was out of work for a while, and that happens. So we got
Yeah.
lucky. My wife's got a good job, and that's what saved us. But if she hadn't had the job she has,
Yeah.
we'd have been toast.
Yeah. Those unexpected life events definitely take a toll, and hopefully, when the banks do their their process and their underwriting that, they, based on what happened, about 10 years ago with the whole mortgage collapsing, or, mortgages falling through and stuff, that the there's more restrictions, and rules about with banks lending. So hopefully that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I hope so, because man, it can mess you up for a long time.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. All right, well, Steve, man, I've had a ball today. You're welcome on here anytime. All you got to do is call and say, "Fat boy, I want to talk some more," and I'll hit the button.
Well, I appreciate that. I won't be calling you fat boy, that's for sure, but I do appreciate it.
Anytime, man, anytime. Which I am. I wanted to fly at one time, but my max weight. Well, I was actually trying to get in the Army. My max weight for my height is 200 pounds. My
Hmm.
skeleton weighs 200 pounds. So I'm a big old
Yeah.
youngin.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, just, unfortunately, flying wasn't in your future, but there's other things that you can do to help people out. So there's a plus.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I fit really well in the back of an ambulance. That's a great thing.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And it's funny. My partner, he's been in EMT for a couple of years, but he's actually in paramedic school now, and it's neat being able to teach him things because he soaks up everything.
Mm.
And I've always been a paramedic that I like to bring my patients to my office. I don't like to take my office to the patients. I don't want to take everything out of my ambulance and have to bring it and the patient back. Just get them in the truck and do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like if we have a CPR or something, fire is on scene. So once we get inside and start managing everything, I'll tell them, all right, y'all, get him out to the truck. I'm going to be ready when you get out there, and I'll go out there and get all my gear ready. And when I intubate, I do it quickly because I know they need an airway. They need it now, period.
Yeah.
And it tickles my partner. He said, we've got people who brag about never missing a tube, but I've never seen anybody do it nearly as fast as you. You almost do it while we're putting a stretcher in.
Huh.
I said, well, it is what it is. And he just laughs his butt off every time I intubate. And it's
It is
so neat
it's a
being able to
special
help
skill
him.
to be able to do it that seamlessly, though. I tell you, there's I've seen doctors, that have issues trying to get that done.
Yeah. Well, when I came up as a young EMT, I had a lot of good paramedic partners, and they taught me a lot, and I've always wanted to pass that stuff on. I call everybody that I work with, that I teach things to, or whatever, that rides with me, my kid, because for me, they're taking a piece of me and my legacy on
Mm.
even after I'm gone.
Right.
And it's so neat to look around at these young people who I knew of when they didn't know anything, and now they're
Hmm.
starting to take leadership roles in EMS and starting to help others like I did. And
Hmm.
it's so neat. It's the best part of
Yeah.
this whole job.
Oh yeah. I can definitely see that.
But yeah, it makes me remember when I was young and full of piss and vinegar, and sirens excited me, and now I'm like, turn that off. It's noisy. It's 3
Right. Yeah.
a.m. We're in a country. Leave it off. But I understand. It was fun though. But no, man. Good luck on the audio book, and when you get it
Thanks.
out, send me a link, man, and we'll push that thing.
I will do. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Hey, anytime, man. Anytime.